Hi everyone, and welcome to this month's Practical Scrappers Scrapping Our Stash blog hop. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you probably saw this already. If you don't follow me and you would like to, the links are in the top right hand corner of my blog. Before we get started, I thought I would talk a little bit about how I came up with this background and the papers that I used. I really dug into my stash, which is the whole point of these blog hops, to make this. I'll get into why I punched out all the butterflies in a moment, but the two papers behind here are pretty old. The top one is the basic gray from their basics line. This is their, what do they call it, Manila, I think, and it's probably 3, maybe even 4 years old. The one behind is from SEI, and it's beautiful tone-on-tone butterfly, if you can see that. And I've had it sitting in my stash waiting for that very, very special layout, and I figure it's just time to get one made. Now the butterflies came about because I was working with a cut file from Amanda Robinson Studios to make some invitations for my daughter, and I will just grab those in a second here. These are some extras that I had. And I used a 6x6 paper pad, 1 sheet each, to make the eggs. And when I was done, this is an example of one of the ones that I had. As you can see, there's the large egg cut file, but I had all this paper left over, and it just seemed quite wasteful to throw that into the recycling bin without attempting to make something more out of it. So I got out 2 of my favorite butterfly punches. The larger one is from Stampin' Up, and the smaller one is a Martha Stewart punch, and I just punched away. So I just grabbed these out of the recycling bin to show you. And then I saved all the butterflies in this little bin here. So I got 2 different sizes separated. And then I also have all the letters on the invitation. It says Egg Hunt, and I kept all those letters. I kind of have an idea of how I'm going to use them, but I haven't had a chance to work on that yet. Okay, so let's get started making the actual layout. I have decided to scrap this picture of my youngest daughter's birthday party. We had, gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of her closest friends from her preschool over for a princess tea party. And so that seemed like a very appropriate background for all these butterflies. It's very girly, and it was a very girly event. So I'm just going to grab my my bin of scrap paper, truly scrapping my stash here, and let's see what I can find to mat this photo on. I don't want too much else on this page, I don't think, because that would take away from the butterflies, and I really love just the repetition of the butterflies. But let's see if I can find something to mat this that's a little more interesting than just plain cardstock. So this is my scrap bin. And so yeah, let's just see what we can find. And we are looking for something that's going to be big enough. That would be, so I'm going to pull that aside. And I'm kind of wanting to keep in this sort of spring color family. So a lot of these brighter ones I'm just going to flick right past. I don't think glitter's the way to go. And my Halloween papers? No, I don't think so. And I don't want anything that's got too big of a pattern on it, because I think it would just get lost. That bow bundle might work. We'll pull that aside. So this is what I do. I just flick through my scrap bin, and if I see something I like, I just pull it aside, and then I try it on the layout. I seem to be gravitating towards blue today. Ooh, I just saw this one. That might work too. Clouds could work. I really don't have an idea in mind. There's an LE Studio paper. I'm really just seeing what grabs me as I flick through it. And this is just a great way to get some inspiration, actually, is to flick through your scrap bin and see what jumps out at you. Quite like that too. I've got quite a few that I will try here. Oh, that could be nice. So I think I might just try some of these and see what I think. That literally jumped out of the bin, so I think that might need to go on the page. Okay, as you can see, I got lots of scraps there, and let's see what works. I gotta find my picture in all this. It's buried in here somewhere. There it is. Now, what I like to do is I just like to kind of get an idea. I might just do it this way so I can see it better, get a better idea. That's not bad. How about this one that jumped out? Nope, that's too busy. It's not bad, but I've got an awful lot of polka dots and circles on this already, so I think I'm going to pass on this one as well. I'm going to put that one right back in my scrap bin. Green. It's not bad. I kind of feel like the cream in the chevron pattern is actually fighting with the cream in the background. Like it's not jumping out enough. And that, while also a polka dot, and I just talked about having too many polka dots, because the scale is so much smaller, it would work if it were a slightly different color. I think this green is just competing against these other greens. So this is what I do. I just go through my papers and I see what will work. No, it's too pale. Oh, I quite like that. Okay, we'll put that one aside. I like that one. And the other cream colored ones I've rejected. Yeah, I'm going to reject that one too. Alright, what about these clouds? I do love these clouds. I think they are too white though. The rest of the page has this sort of aged, antiqued look, and I think these clouds are just too white. Save that for another paper. What about some wood grain? Nope. What about the chalkboard? Nope. Now I got my blue ones left. I think something was telling me this needed blue. That's quite nice. I think. Well, we'll put that aside for now. Hearts. Quite like that one too. And last but not least, oh buddy, see, more polka dots. Quite like that. And this is where I start just seeing how it would look in sort of my style, which is a fairly layered, boxy kind of a style. That could be a winner. I'm going to put the hearts away. quite like that. Just a double matte. Okay, I'm going to cut this down and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I've trimmed my papers and I'm ready to start. I haven't adhered anything down yet, but I'm ready to start picking out some other items that I want to use. First and foremost is some lettering for my title. I haven't quite figured out what my title is going to be yet, but I went digging through my letter bin, and my letter bin looks exactly like my scrap bin, only slightly more organized. And I pulled out some light blue foam thickers, Amy Tangerine, and then some older glitter sassafras stickers. And I also pulled out, this is an older Dear Lizzie shapes, chipboard shapes. And as you can tell, I've used quite a few of them. And I don't know if I'll use any of them, but I thought that they might be a little bit fun. Like maybe those swirlies I could add. I don't know if the pinks will really go or anything like that, but just pulled it out for some inspiration to see if it'll make it on the layout. I also pulled out a lot of these smaller butterflies. I thought maybe I could add some on top of the larger ones for a bit of dimension. And then I need a place to journal. Quite often I will write directly on the background paper, but there's a lot going on in the background, so I'm looking for something separate to journal on. And I have a bin with a lot of journaling tags, and I found these cut apart. These are from crepe paper. That one is Echo Park. And I also have a whole lot of Ellie Studio tags that I will flip through and see if any of those will work. And I've got some chic tags, little labels that might work. I kind of like that they are in a similar vein with the sort of aged look. Other things that I pulled out are some word stickers from My Mind's Eye. I've got those in 3 different colors. The yellow's been fairly picked apart. And I've got some Studio Calico die cut label stickers that might work. I've got other stickers and things that may or may not make it on the layout. I don't need a ton of embellishment, so I'm really just looking for a place where I can journal and add a little bit of interest around my photo and a title. Okay, so I'm going to play with these a little bit, and I'll let you see my process. First thing I'm going to do though is ink my edges. Now, there's all sorts of fancy tools out there to ink your edges, but I just use a sponge. Now it was a round sponge, I just cut a wedge out, and that's what I used to ink all my edges. For the butterflies, I inked them with some soft suede from Stampin' Up. So I'm going to do the same thing with my papers. Now I just rub that on my ink pad and then run it along. And I know there are all sorts of fancy tools to help you do this. And maybe if and when I make that sort of investment, I will declare my love for them and never go back. But right now, this is working for me. It's quick and easy, cheap and cheerful, and so I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to lightly adhere these to my page. I will not so lightly adhere them to each other, and then I will lightly adhere them to my page, and that way if I change my mind I can move it around. Because the girls at the party were all kind of crazy, and it was, well, it was what you would think of a party of a bunch of 4- and 5-year-olds would be. I'm going to put it slightly off center to add a bit of energy. Okay, so I know I sort of want this about there. Now I got to figure out title placement. And I'm just going to sort of play with some of these journaling cards and see if they are working for me or not. I kind of like this one with the balloons because it was a birthday party. So let me just cut that out. And see if that'll work for me. I like the idea of it, but again, I'm running into that it's just kind of fading into the background, the cream against the cream. So I might need something behind it. I have this red one that might work. All right, now what else can we put there? It's very similar in color to the blue, which I like. I might need to pull some blue down here. So I think I'll hang on to that one. I like that. And then there's a matching one in the pink as well. Maybe I could pull that up there. Yep. Now this one I'm going to commit to. So a lot of the times I just make a commitment, and I find if I overthink things, that's when I really get in trouble. So I'm just going to make that commitment. I'm not going to stick it down to the background because my whole layer isn't stuck down yet. I'm going to tuck that in a little bit more. So I'm going to hang on to that one. I'll look at those a little bit later because the word stickers are things that I can add at the end. Let's look at some of these tags here. That would pick up the red there, which could be good. Maybe a long one. I'm going to leave those ones there for now. This is just what I do. I like put things down and move them around, and I'm not afraid to remove it if it's just really not working for me. Now I tried a piece of paper with that motif on it and it didn't work, and you know what, that's not going to work for me either. And I think these other ones are a bit big. Yep. Those aren't going to work, but I've got lots of other LE Studio tags. I love their tags. And to be honest, I don't use them as often as I should, considering the amount of stash I have. Now some of them have the white, which I'm going to try and stay away from. I like the saying on that one, but I don't like this background color. Some of these little banners could be good. I actually keep these as well because sometimes I can punch a shape out of that, or use it as a almost like a piece of patterned paper. Hang on to that one for now. The ones with the white background, I'm just tucking away because I don't think those are going to work. Don't need a true red, I need a more pinky red. Okay, I've got a few there that I can play with some more. See, I really do have a lot of tags. Ooh, that could be cute. I love this photo. Okay, so I've got enough of those to play with. So I will move on. Let's figure out how I want to place these, and then we'll work on my title. Could do something like that. Or as long as I'm not covering anybody's face, that could work up there. I might need to move that back up a little bit again. Now, and if I tuck that like that. And this is, I just build layers like this. And I don't know if these ones are going to make it. Don't even know if I really like that one on there, to be honest. Maybe I will use these ones instead. It's little flags. Yeah, I kind of like that. I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to ink all the edges. And I'm going to adhere my photo, and then I can get my title down. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Now I've got to put my title in. If you've ever struggled to come up with a title, what I like to do is think about what story I am trying to tell, and I want to talk about this great group of girls that my daughter currently has as friends at her preschool. But my brain is just not really coming up with a great, you know, sort of 1 or 2 word description for that. And we've got this best friends and love this photo, so I could just say, you know, birthday buddies or birthday tea guests, I don't know, birthday beauties. Don't normally do this. I don't totally have a plan, and thickers are not super forgiving, especially if you put them on photos, but I kind of want the word birthday, so I'm just going to get it down and hope that something else gets triggered in my head. Don't try this at home, people. Have a plan. You will ruin fewer layouts if you have a plan. If I were doing this live, maybe you could send me inspiration, the perfect title. Quite a few of these, so maybe I can put tea guests underneath, or just princesses. Yeah, you know what, I'm gonna do that. And because I have that gap, I think I might do a 5th right there. I think I'll look for I'll go back into my stash and I will look for some small little letters. So I found on the Simple Stories I Heart Summer alpha sheet, this multicolored one. There is a T and an H in the light blue. I think those are going to be perfect. It's always nice to dig into your stash a little bit more. All right, there we go. 5th birthday princesses. Now I can get my journaling down and put a little bit more embellishment on there. And we're almost done. Okay, so we got the title done with a little bit of trouble and the journaling all written. And now it's time to embellish. Now I don't need a ton of embellishments because the butterflies are basically embellishments on their own. But I did have the idea of adding a few gems to some of the butterflies and then some of the smaller butterflies to others. I thought it might be kind of cool to pop that up. Let's just ink the edges so that it gets a little bit of definition. And pop it up tone on tone like that. Or I could add same color, just a different pattern. Or I could go different color on top. Like with this one, I could put a light pink on top. Okay, so I'm going to play around with that for a little bit. And I've also got some gems that I'm going to add to some. So I think I will start with the gems and see which ones I want to add gems to. And I also want to add some around here as well. See what colors I want to add as well. And these are just from Michaels. I kind of like that they have a lot of different colors. I could add pearls too. Does not want to go on the layout. Okay, this is looking pretty good. I think I just need to add something to the row of butterflies down here. And then we can call it pretty much done. Okay, that's where I'm going to call it done. Thanks so much for joining us this month. I hope you are having fun hopping along and you keep going. And if you want more pictures of this, come and check out my blog. The link is in the video description. Thank you so much.